Hello everyone. Welcome. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me. Welcome everybody. Am I alone here? Or please, where you are?
Where's it going?
Great. Hello. Is anybody with me here from Facebook, YouTube? Just let me know. Drop a comment. Let's know you're here. Let's know you're with us and we're not alone. Let me see if I can do DJ for us. Welcome everyone. If you can see me, if you can hear me, just say hi in the comment section. I need to be sure that you guys can see me and you guys can hear me. It's really important. Let me know in the comment section. Also, let me know where you're joining us from. What part of the world are you joining us from? Let me know. I'm really excited, and I'm looking forward to seeing your comments pop up on my screen. Because come on, people, let's do this. Okay. I just wanna be happy. I keep on doing the things that keep on bringing me pain. I'm still waiting. Am I alone here, or is it my screen doing me tricks? Can I know? Let me know where you're watching from, where you're joining in from. Let me know if you can hear me now loud and clear. If you can see me, just let me know. I'm waiting. Don't get stuck in how you feel. Say Jesus, take over. You need to say, you wanna be happy. I just wanna be happy. I keep looking in my heart for people to tear apart. The healing will never stop, so I can be happy. Will I ever be happy? Cry yourself to sleep. Shout and reach your hands. It won't change a picture till you understand. Come on, people, where are you? If you're watching from Facebook, hope you had signed up so your comments can be seen on StreamYard as well. Because it could be that you're on, but I can't see your comments. So make sure that your comments could be seen on StreamYard. Jesus knows just how you feel. And you wanna be happy. Good, 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 good. Lovely, lovely. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Now I say it was me. It was me. I apologize, all of you. I was looking at the wrong chat section. Good to see you all. Wow, we have someone from Ketu, Lagos. Look at that. This patient says she's from UAR. You're welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, watching from Ado-Ekiti. Awesome. That's great. Hi, David Omoyeni. You're welcome. Hope the music is not overshadowing my voice and a proper blend. Please, if you're a zonal leader, if you're an LOC member, or if you're just in any group, please go to your WhatsApp chat and tell them and say, we're live, we're ready, we're waiting for them. We'll give them another 2-3 minutes to join in. Let them know and say, we're waiting. It's an exciting time today. We have a very exciting topic to discuss today, and I'm really, really pumped about that topic. So please get everybody on, get everybody on. Good, good. You've told them. Remind them, please. We need this place because this topic is not one that they should gist you about. It's not the one that they will come back later to tell you and say, did you watch? Did you hear? And the speaker we have also, she's amazing, wonderful. So please, you really, really do not want to miss out, or you do not want your members to miss out. Please send out those reminders, share the link to them, send the link to your friends. Remember, people could join us from YouTube as well. So share the link across and let them know and say, we're live and we're good. So for those who are joining us from YouTube and probably you just got the link somewhere else, this is an event powered by Babes Redefine International, and we're running an event called Value Me. So Value Me is one of the events where we run that cater to women, or not just women generally, but that caters to our finances and other aspects of our lives. So this is not this one is not the average everyday relationship questions and answer and talks and all of that. We cater to other aspects of life, your finances, your well-being. And this year we are focusing more on our health and well-being. So we're doing this is like a teaser to the main event. So girls, ladies, trust me, this is something you should look forward to. Value Me 2021. If you've not heard about it, just here now, go and scroll on our Facebook or IG pages and start knowing where to follow, because this is an event you do not want to miss. We're digging into our health and how we could improve on our health. So it's very, very important. It's really, really good that we all follow in and we all join in. Last week, if you were here last week, please let me see you say something in the comment section. Last week, we talked about demystifying cancer. It was really enlightening, honestly. For me, I don't know about you, but for me, it was really enlightening. If you were here last week, let me just see you say hi in the comment section. Say hi. Let's know that, let people know that it's worth the time, it's worth the data, you know, it's worth your phone battery being here with us. Ah, thank you, Elizabeth. We were here last week. I trust we're blessed. That's why you're here again. We're having these sessions every Friday in the month of July. So we'll have this one this week, and then there's going to be another session next week, Friday, as well. So it's really, really great that we get people on board, get people today. Drum rolls. The topic we are about to discuss today is very interesting. In fact, it's a topic that each of all of us and every one of us, and when that topic starts, it doesn't used to end quickly. It doesn't end quickly because everybody always have something to say. It trends every now and again, everywhere. Base Patience, thank you. You are also here. With the number of eyes after this, your high, it means it was powerful. That's great. That's great. Lovely. Awesome. Okay. So yeah, so the topic we're looking at today, it's one of, the things, like I said, it's something really peculiar to we ladies. And, we're looking at discussing about top issues that affect the female health. And according to the World Health Organization, our topic today ranked, I think, number 3. It was one of the top 3 issues that affect females' health. And it's about our mental health. We're talking about our mental health today. And men, ladies, it is going to be the bomb because the speaker that we have is someone that knows, her onions. She's been in the field and should be able to let us know. We can discuss so many things about it. So let us all be excited, to have these conversations about our mental health, because sometimes I'm very certain when they talk about people and say, oh, are you in an abusive relationship or something? Everybody goes, no, 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 he doesn't hit me. He doesn't beat me. He doesn't do this. He doesn't, no, no, no. He's never laid a finger on me. But trust me, it goes deeper than laying a finger on you. It goes deeper than just, he didn't hit me, So these are the kind of conversations we need to have confidently. We shouldn't shy away from these conversations because we think no, we shouldn't shy away from them. These are conversations I feel it's really important that we have these conversations and we discuss these matters and how we can handle them, how things can be better, you know, how we can improve things, how we can get solutions to these issues, because the truth is so many people are struggling with their mental health and they have no clue how to go about it because they don't want to feel judged. They don't want to feel, there's so much prejudice when it comes to mental health, and everybody just thinks, yeah, that crazy woman, that crazy girl, that everybody has that tag attached to it. But I feel we should be able to get to the space where we can talk about these things and be able to move on and move past from them and heal, So I'll just give us a brief introduction about our speaker. She's one of us.
Oh, welcome, Anna. We're happy to have you too. Good. Our speaker is one of us. She's also a babes, and she's Dr. Temilade Adebite, and she's a consultant psychiatrist with special interest in children and adolescents. She had her first degree in MBBS at Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, Ogbomoso. And then she had a postgraduate in psychology at the National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria. She's currently running a post-fellowship training in child and adolescent psychiatry at Lagos State University Teaching Hospital. She currently works as a consultant psychiatrist at Happy Family Hospital, Bagada. She's from Osun State. She's married and blessed with beautiful, God-fearing children. And she is a member of the Baptist denomination. So I know she's really excited to come on. She's just there, like backstage, like, yeah. I can't wait to share all this knowledge with these people. So, babes, please give me a babes redefined, a very redefined welcome to Dr. Temilade Adebite as she comes on. Let's celebrate her as she comes on. There she is.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, hi. Good to have
Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can. We can hear you. We can see you.
Hello. Good evening, everybody.
Good.
All right. Thank you.
Good.
Can I go on?
Yes, sure.
Oh, all right. Good evening once again, everybody. My name is Temilade Adebite. I'm a consultant psychiatrist. So the topic before us this evening is the psychological effects of abuse. And before I go on, I want to sincerely appreciate the organizers of this program for coming up with such a topic at a time like this. Thank you so much. So I won't take your time. Yes, talking about the psychological effect or the effect of abuse on mental health. I would like to talk about this under the outline, a brief introduction, a few definitions. What are the types of abuse that we have? What are the risk factors for abuse? Epidemiology, how common are these things in this environment? And then what are the features? What are the things that we can see in people who are abused in one form or the other? Then we talk about the effects on mental health generally, and then how do we prevent such occurrences? So by way of introduction, I want to say that abuse generally is a global health challenge with serious long life complications. And it's not uncommon for us to talk about this topic at a time like this because abuse is occurring almost every day, every hour in different parts of the world, not only in developing worlds like Nigeria, even in developed countries. Yes. So what are the few things I would like you to know about when we say abuse? What does it mean? It is an act intended to inflict pain or to cause intense humiliation on the part of another individual. And when we say mental health, according to World Health Organization in 2014 is defined as a state of well-being in which an individual is able to contribute his or her own part to the community. They're able to cope well under normal stresses of life, and they're able to contribute their own quota to his or her own environment. What are the types? of abuse. It can come in form of physical abuse. It could be verbal abuse. It could be emotional abuse. It could also be in form of neglect. Some of the times, people who neglected another person does not even know that neglect is an abuse, and it seems to be the commonest of all the forms of abuse that we have. In terms of epidemiology, as of 2016, it is estimated that 676,000 victims of abuse, and we have 676,000 victims of abuse, or approximately 9.1 cases per 1,000 children. And the commonest of them, like I said, is actually child neglect, followed by physical abuse, followed by sexual abuse, and then as the case may be. It's also good for us to know about spouse abuse, because I know quite a number of people here are married. And when we are talking about spouse abuse, it is also known as domestic violence. And this is defined as physical assault within the home, in which one spouse is repeatedly assaulted by another. And when we're talking about spouse abuse, we're saying that it is estimated to occur in about 2 to 12 million families in the United States of America. So this is huge. I don't know what the estimates or the epidemiology is in Nigeria. Apart from that, abuse cuts across all age groups. There's child abuse, there's adolescent abuse, males are being abused, females are being abused, the married and even the elderly. So this is something that cuts across the health of almost everybody. So if we are saying that we're not being abused ourselves, what about our children? What about our parents? What about our spouses, as the case may be? And it comes from different parts of, as bad as at work, you can actually be abused by your senior colleague at work. It can come in any form. And as individuals, we also abuse our domestic staffs. And many of the times we don't even know. We don't know the extent of what we are doing. That's why this committee has come up with what are the mental health complications of abuse. Okay, so what are the features? What are the things? What are the signs and symptoms of abuse, depending on what form of abuse? Take, for example, child neglect, which seems to be the commonest of all forms of abuse. Such children can present with dehydration, they can present with malnutrition, they can present with, poor self-care, lack of basic amenities, such as food, such as water, common things, common basic life requirements, you understand, clothing, shelter, having a good sleep space for your child, And for those who are being sexually abused, some of the few things we can see of them, many of the times we don't have, physical symptoms to say that an individual is being abused, but some of the times we pick a few things, such as, vaginal laceration, bruises, torn clothes, stained clothes, and all that, when the child or the individual is struggling to escape from such acts. For emotional abuse, is as bad as yelling on someone, calling them different names, which are not acceptable. And sometimes the environment allows a few things such a way that some certain gender are known to dominate the other. For example, the males dominating the females, and then you can have the husband call the wife different names because the man feels that is in ownership of the woman, and whatever comes from it, nobody cares to know. For those who are emotionally abused or those who are psychologically abused, they may be socially withdrawn. They may be depressed. They may not want to talk about it. They may be more used to their phones instead of relating with people, social withdrawal, lack of appetite, lack of energy. They can have all forms of symptoms, as the case may be. So that's not the topic for today anyway. But what is the effect on mental health? Of course, it has to do with the immediate, the intermediate, and the long-term effects. And again, I've also separated them into those factors acting as predisposing factors to the development of first episode of mental illness. And they can also act as, predisposing factors in people who already have mental illness. They can also serve as precipitating factors. People who already have the tendency to have mental illness before, when they are being abused, the chances that they're going to have it becomes higher. And they can serve as maintaining factors. As long as these people continue to be abused, the chances that they're going to get better, even despite all efforts, giving medication, giving psychotherapy, and all forms of treatments, may actually not work out. So what are the common psychological complications?
Hello? Are you still with us, Dr. Temilade? Wow, I think network had probably caught her or something. Please let me know. Can you still hear Dr. Temilade, or is it just me who can't hear her anymore? Hello? Network, I suppose. Yeah, I thought as much. Wow. While we're waiting for her to get back on, who else is already like tripped? Like, I'm really tripping here because I'm like, wow, who would have thought that certain things that, we just probably took as normal, or we just took as it didn't matter, does actually matter. To think that anything you do, anything you do with a, with an intent to hurt somebody is considered abuse. When you try to humiliate people intentionally so they get hurt, that's abuse. When you say, in fact, you know what, I will give this person the silent treatment. I'm just gonna turn away. Come on, people. We all need to go and re-examine, and think again. Exactly, neglect, a form of abuse. Sometimes we just feel it's only us that are busy. We'll have to go repent and think and say, come on, let's think about these things. And like she said, the impact of this abuse, really affects the person, because it could be that whatever is happening here, it's either going to be a trigger to the person's mental health in one way or the other. And it could be something that, okay, this person is already struggling with their mental health, and then another person pours in their own shade of abuse there. And the next thing is, this person isn't just getting better. Yeah. I think it is abuse when it's done repeatedly to make the other person feel a certain kind of way. Yes, obviously, when it comes to abuse, I think repetition is really key. And when it comes to abuse, it's not just a one-off situation, but when the person is repeatedly, doing this thing with an intent to hurt this other person, make this person feel bad, then would really consider it as abuse. Oh, she's back. Oh, welcome back, Dr. Temilade. You're welcome back. We can see you now. You can carry on, ma.
Oh, all right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. So we didn't talk about the risk factors for abuse. So common risk factors for abuse are: number one, people who are abused themselves, either as a child or as an adult. So they have the tendency to also abuse another person. Poverty is another major factor, like in the case of child neglect. Of course, when the family is poor, there's little or nothing they can do than to neglect, the child. Yes, another important factor is presence of underlying, maybe psychological or physical conditions, such as, depending on the age, such as intellectual disability in children and adolescents, you know, adult or elderly who suffered from stroke, people with intellectual disability, people with physical disability, people who are not able to see well, who are not able to talk or hear, they're not able to walk well, and so on, as the case may be. So, very briefly, we're talking about the mental health complications. Like I said, the predisposing factors, they can act as precipitating factors, they can act as maintaining factors, as the case may be. So, common psychological disorders in people who are abused, the commonest of them in our clinics are depression and anxiety disorders. And when we're talking about depression, we talk about the core symptoms of depression, which are low mood, loss of interest in pleasurable activities, anhedonia, which is anhedonia, reduced energy, and then other factors are loss of appetite, poor sleep, social withdrawal, and so on. And it may be mild, it may be moderate, it may also be severe. Various forms of anxiety disorders are also possible, ranging from generalized anxiety disorders, specific phobia, stress-related disorders, acute stress reaction, and post-traumatic stress disorder. Then again, some other people cope with that. They begin to use maladaptive coping mechanisms. They may begin to use substance. They may begin to use alcohol, cannabis, and all forms of psychoactive substances. Some use excess dose of sleep medication, and so on. Substance use, And again, even chronic psychological conditions. People may come up with first episode of schizophrenia. People will come up with acute psychotic disorders, as the case may be. And then what are the symptoms in some of these things? For symptoms of anxiety disorders, we talk about undue fearfulness, chest pain, feelings of impending doom, panic attacks, excessive sweating, tremors, headache, difficulty swallowing. Sometimes they present with non-specific symptoms, and then you continue to make inquiries into what the case may be. And when we are reviewing patients in psychiatry, we try as much as possible to start from things like, during pregnancy, was there any issue, childhood adverse experiences such as rape, as the case may be, educational history. And when we are asking those questions, we are trying to look into the etiology of what the problem is. We are looking into etiology of what we are dealing with. Is this person suffering this now, or is due to the complication of what had happened in the past? And I can boldly tell you, many of the times, a lot of people who present in the psychiatric clinic had history of sexual abuse as a child. Some are currently going through one form of abuse or the other. So apart from the pharmacological treatment, psychological treatment, and other forms of treatment, sometimes we may need to look into families and actually see what is going on. Many of the times when children present in the clinic, when we are seeing a child is acting like a window.
Wow, network. This network is trying to rain on our parade this evening. Wow, wow, wow. God, can this network please be stable? This is really important that we get this information, honestly. Wow. I think she's having network issues again. And honestly, the network needs to hear the word of God and be stable. I agree with you. I agree with you on that. Amen on that. Network needs to hear the word of God and be stable. Wow. Just thinking about what she was talking about now. I know sometimes, especially those of us from UAR, to be specific, those of us from Nigeria, sometimes you feel like your physician is being very intrusive when they're asking you questions. You're like, okay, I came here and I'm probably telling you, oh, I've lost my appetite, I can't sleep well, I can't do this. And then they're beginning to ask you questions like, okay, tell me about this. Has that happened before? And you begin to take offense, like, that's my personal life. What has that got to do with anything? Like she said, most of the times, these things, those information help in building your diagnosis. It helps in building what kind of care should be given to you ultimately. Because we try to do what happens in our house stays in our house. But for your sake, for your health and your well-being sake, please, when your physician asks you questions, don't try to paint it. They are not trying to judge you or judge where you're coming from or judge your background or try to make you feel like, no, no. They're only just trying to make sure that they're getting the full picture so they can give you a more accurate diagnosis and patient care. So I know it's a very thin line between one person going to go and disturb the doctor with things that's not the doctor's business. But in the specific case where they ask you and say, tell me about this, please don't hold back. Don't think the doctor or the nurse is being nosy and they just want to hear gist. They really want to find a way to care for you. So please don't hold back information when it's been requested from you. I think she's trying to join back in again. And so, yeah, I think she's back in again. Yeah. Okay, welcome back. This network is trying to spoil our show, but it won't work. But with you, doctor, please continue. Carry on. Dr. Temilade, you can carry on. Oh dear. Can you hear me, Dr. Temilade?
So I'm sorry about the, thank you so
Okay.
much. I'm sorry about the bad network.
It's all right. You can carry on. You can carry on. So we lost you at the
So
point where
like,
you were talking.
yeah,
Okay.
thank you. Like I was saying, the medical team or the psychiatrist might actually need to
There. She's off again. This network. Hear the word of God. This can be happening today. We really need this network to be stable. Network, hear the word of the Lord. Hear the word of the Lord. Mm. See, someone just wrote in the comment section, if you're seeing a psychiatrist or clinical psychologist, just give all information before they even ask. holding back any information is definitely not in your interest. I agree with this, honestly. I do, because to you, it may just feel like that's it. Because you may just feel like, okay, I've just been tired these days. I've been stressed. But it goes beyond that, I'm just tired. And it goes beyond that, I'm just stressed. So honestly, when it comes to, you know, your side, it goes, every detail matters. Every little detail helps. So please, Tosfa, I hope we've learned something, or we're learning something, Tosfa, despite the network misbehavior. Hope, Tosfa, from where we started till now, trying to understand the different forms of abuse, how it can impact, the spread and all of that. Hope we've been learning things, or we're learning something. Let's know in the comment section. Let's know if you've learned anything, if you've heard anything new, just drop in the comment section. Okay, welcome back, Dr. Temilade. You can carry on, please.
So thank you so much. Sorry for the poor network. Yes, we were talking about psychodynamic formulation. So many of the times, our clients don't present in the hospital with sexual abuse, with physical abuse, with all forms of abuse. So high index of suspicion. If you have a patient that you are treating and you feel that with maximum medication, with maximum psychotherapy and all forms of treatment, patient is not getting better, then we need to look into etiology of the illness. And some of the times we see that is either the person was abused in the past or the person is still being abused up till now. What can we do in terms of prevention? Yes, in terms of primary prevention, as much as possible, we want to educate people about all forms of abuse. We want to create awareness to almost everybody so that people can know and understand all forms of abuse. Apart from that, in those who are already abused and who already have one form of whether medical complication or physical complication in terms of medical conditions. For example, someone is being sexually abused and the individual develops maybe sexually transmitted infection such as HIV. We're talking about prompt diagnosis and early treatment for such people. In this environment, people would have gone to church, people would have used all forms of treatments before they present in the hospital. And this has been found to also affect the prognosis of such illnesses. So for secondary prevention, in those who already have the disease, in those who are already being abused, early detection and prompt diagnosis is also very important. Tertiary prevention, what can we do? Well, we're using this medium to appeal to our political, to our honorables, to people in charge of law. We can actually come up with laws that prohibit, violent punishments, that people who abuse another can actually be punished and they can be made to face the law. These are some of the things that we can do. But above all, campaigns awareness is the best, because in the first place, we don't even want people abused, whether as a child, whether as an adult or an elderly, because this is a problem that cuts across all age groups. And it is not only women that are being abused, men are
True.
also being abused. And recently, we hear about spousal abuse that have led to death, even in men. So this is an important topic, and I want to thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk about this topic. I welcome questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Wow. Wow. This was really, really enlightening, to know. And so, babes, please, if you have any questions, just drop in the comment section and we'll read it out for her to see. So whilst they are typing up their questions, you made mention about situations where the impact affects prognosis, in the sense of, say somebody was, you're already giving the person drugs, the person's already on therapy, and you're noticing this person isn't getting any better and all of that. So what do we recommend in those kind of situations? Do we just say, okay, pack your load and leave that place? Like, what do you think would be a good recommendation as to how to handle cases or situations like that?
Yes, for those who have been abused, or for those who have been abused, depending on the situation, as the case may be, the role of a psychologist is very, very important. Very, very important. For those people, we can actually request for a supportive psychotherapy for that
Mm.
individual, and that can be well managed using psychotherapy. So they are well taken through their trauma, through maybe any form of rape or any form of abuse. We can also do family therapy, as the case may be. If it is spouse abuse, we can invite the husband and then we can discuss the case as it may be.
Okay.
So
Sure.
those are some of the things that we can do. But above all, awareness, education of the public, so that people are not abused in the first place.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing.
Wow. True. Good. Also, some people may feel I'm very personal, I'm very private. So opening up is an issue for them. How can we encourage them to say, do you know what? It's important you let your psychologist or psychiatrist know what is happening, because like somebody said, try to give as many information as you can give. But when you meet people who are really introverted, or the effect of the abuse had caused them to really be introverted, how do we encourage them to speak out, and how do we encourage them to speak up as well?
Okay, thank you so much for that. I want to say that it's always good for an individual to have someone you trust so much. Many of the times, the abused individual or people who are being abused don't present in the hospital. Some of the times, they may not even know that they are being abused. So I want to encourage people, for example, in children and adolescents or in young children, I want to encourage us to start sex education for our children at an early age. In fact, as early as they begin to say dada, mama, they are making one or two words and all that, and then we begin to teach them about the private parts. Yes, this is your vagina, this is your penis, and you call the names as the names are, and not private parts. Private parts is a general word. This is your vagina, V for vagina. This is your penis, this is your breast, these are your private parts. You don't allow anybody to touch you, and you don't touch another person's penis or vagina. And we encourage them, if anybody tells you that you should do this, don't tell anybody. As much as possible, we have to be available for our children. We have to be their best friend. We have to be their companion. You know, yes, you tell me. And as parents, we should also have listening ears. These days, many of us are so career, work and all the loads. And before you get home, you're already tired, and we don't even have time for our children again. We have to cultivate the habit of listening to them. We have to understand our children so that when there's a little change in their behavior, you have a child that sleeps normally, maybe sleep time is 7:30, 8 o'clock, and 12 midnight. You have to be worried. What is the cause of this? If you have a child that is nervous around a particular person, maybe your driver, maybe your house help, maybe one uncle, whenever the person comes around, your child is a bit nervous. We have to have eagle eyes as parents, and it's not only the mothers, even the fathers, even older siblings and all that. So we encourage people to have an individual that they trust and then they can talk to. So before they even get to psychologists, psychiatrists and all that. I don't know, maybe you are getting my point.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
So those are some of the things that we can do before we can now say that, okay, at the point of a psychiatrist, what is the problem? We encourage people to speak up, to speak out. Sometimes when I'm seeing patients and I'm asking you about your first coital experience, the question is, how is that related to why I'm here? And many of the times I try to educate them that even the information, I don't have space in my head to keep such information. And if I begin to ask everybody about their first coital
Which
experience,
one
of
would you
what
remember?
significance is that to me, if not for the patient? And as much as possible, all informations that you are giving to me are confidential, and they remain confidential except on certain situations that I may be forced to release some of the information. So this is not an information that I can begin to spread around. Well, I'm asking you about your first menstrual cycle or when you first had a relationship, and people are worried. Some of the times, yes, we can still remember. And it might be at that stage that we're getting to know that, okay, first sexual experience was actually a case of rape.
Wow.
So that's why we need to, as much as possible, open up to our doctors. I mean, you can afford to hide information from your doctor, just like people will say you cannot hide information from your lawyer. So I encourage us, when you go to hospital, as many information as they require, please let us supply this information and let us always say the truth, nothing but the truth. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Wow. Absolutely. I feel we are in a world where it's not just okay for us to just rely on every other thing. You have to be more, like you said, if you notice the slightest change, look closer. Don't just think, okay, the child just stopped sleeping, or the child does all of a sudden, child is no longer interested in going to this place. Try to dig deeper, try to understand what exactly is going on. And I feel you have to build that
Or the
relationship with
appetite
the
has
child.
gone down.
Yeah, I
They're
feel
not
you have to
relating
build
well
that.
again. I don't want to go
Exactly.
to school. I don't want to go to that particular school. We need to
Yeah.
find out why. What's
Why?
going on?
Yeah, and you need to build that trust with them as well, I feel. Because if it's the case where at everything they tell you, you're always dismissing it, it would be hard for them to open up. So I think we should, if you're a parent, if you're a caregiver, it's really important that the people you work with or the people you're around, build that trust with them. And when they come to you with stuff, it may sound silly, it may sound very, what are you saying? But don't dismiss them, because it's from those little things they build that trust, and they'll be able to be confident to now tell you this happened or that happened and all of that. So yeah, it's really, really good. Wow. Does any no questions have come true? You guys don't have any question?
And again, on the part of married couples, an abusive relationship is not a relationship. Always speak up. Speak
Mm.
up. Speak to a friend. Speak to a church member. Speak to someone. Don't endure what is. I mean, people continue to endure. They say that you continue to endure because of your children, continue to endure because you can't afford to go back to your parents' house and all sorts. As much as possible in psychiatry, we try to mend relationships. But when we see or feel that this is unamendable, then we need to do something about it. Yes, as
Mm.
a Christian, I'm not in support of divorce. But if that is the case, let people go their separate ways. At least the two of them can be alive,
Exactly.
rather than physical abuse that can in one day lead to death.
True.
That is not acceptable.
Yeah. I think we have a question here. Someone is asking, we still have those who sort of stigmatize victims of abuse and those who blame the victims. How do we jump these hurdles to get them to see their doctors or to see a doctor? So, typically when they tell you, a lady, for example, comes to say, oh, I was sexually abused or something, and the first thing the person listening to her is asking is, what clothes were you wearing? What were you doing in his house? Why did you go to go and see him alone? Why did you? And they start all those whys. And the person is thinking, why did I even start? Why did I bring myself here? So how do we jump those hurdles to get people to feel confident enough to speak up? I think network is gone. Some their network is gone. I'm not a psychologist, neither am I a psychiatrist, but I feel for me, common sense just tells us to be more accommodative and to respect people's pain in itself. It's very important. Respect people's pain. When somebody comes to you, acknowledge their hurts. Leave your investigative journalism to the corner first. Acknowledge their hurts. Try to get them help. Because all of this, when you're just putting the blame culture, it's not going to help anybody. And sometimes we think we are doing these things with the best of interest. Though. It's not every time that the person that's asking you, your skirt was short. Sometimes they genuinely do not know that they are causing more harm than good. So I feel it's important that you think about what you're about to say. And if what you're about to say is not going to help the situation at hand, maybe you keep it first. We address that later, but because it's quite difficult, or in say marriages when somebody comes and says this is what is happening, and then you are telling the lady, and you didn't cook for the man, you didn't do this, and how did you offend the man? It's not every time that is the lady that offended the man, or a child is telling you something and you're already thinking, I know you're a very stubborn child. It is you that went to find trouble first. Sometimes just acknowledging things, acknowledging the person's hurt, acknowledging the person's pain would go a long way. I think she's back now and she'll be able to address it better. Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
So I didn't get the last question.
Okay, the last question was about with the whole stigmatization of victims of abuse, and blame culture on victims of abuse. How do we overcome those hurdles to get these people who have been abused, these victims, to speak out? Because most people don't want to speak out because of the blame culture. Like, oh, why did you go and see a guy? Oh, you didn't cook for your husband. That's why he was angry with you and he did what he did. You didn't, they put it as you failed. That's why the abuse happened. How do we try to get people like that to come out and speak? Because I feel very much that there's so many people who want to speak up, but when they think of one, the stigmatization, two, the blame that would come on them, they'd rather suffer in silence.
Yeah, thank you for that. I think as much as possible, it still boils down to awareness. Yes, as much as possible, we have to make people aware that they need to speak out. Yes, you need to just speak out, irrespective of what the culture says about it. And again, we need to also educate the public that we don't need to put blame on anybody. We don't need to put blame on anybody. In the real sense, anybody can actually be abused. Anybody can be sexually abused. Anybody can be emotionally abused. So the first thing is awareness. Yes, once you know that, yes, I have the right to speak up, I can talk. And these days we have NGOs, non-governmental organizations, who are in charge of some of these things. You understand? And if it can actually get a primary health center where you can always get a referral to see a psychiatrist, that would be very nice. These days we have specialists online, we have therapists online, although we have to be very careful to know who is who. Yes, if anybody calls me, if you tell me you are a babe, of course, you don't have to introduce yourself more than telling me, oh, babe Temilade, I'm a babe, so I got to know about you from so place. Can I speak with you? Even if you are not in my area, I can actually hand you over to people around you wherever you are. And fine, we know that we don't have enough psychiatrists, but of course, at the same time, we have psychiatrists all over. We have psychologists all over. It's not all the time that you have to see a psychiatrist. Even seeing a psychologist for just therapy might be enough for some people. And if there's a need for the clients to also see other paramedicals, of course, there's no harm in that. But the first thing is you need to speak up. We need to create awareness. We need to talk more about it, like we're doing now. We can go to churches, we can go to schools. These days, we're talking about implementing mental health into schools, into their curriculum, so that they can have knowledge, so that they can be aware what are the common signs and symptoms of mental illness, and then they can be easily picked. Again, teachers in private schools and secondary schools can go for seminars that has to do with mental health. Some of the times the parents don't know, some of them are picked in school. Many of these behaviors are either at home or in school. And we can say that we spend most of our times in school these days for children. You understand? Some of them have been in school as early as 7 a.m. and they might not come back until around 5 p.m. So they spend more time with their teachers. So the teachers can actually go for seminars in mental health, seminars in various health conditions, so that they can easily recognize some of the symptoms in them. And if we pick them early, we're talking about early diagnosis and prompt treatment. And these days, as psychiatrists, we also go to schools to tell them about mental health. But we are also advocating for implementation of mental health into school curriculums. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much. Oh, honestly, speaking out, we can't
Any other
overemphasize it.
question?
Okay, there's a question that just came in line with what you just said. So the person says, but does speaking out handle the sense of failure that accompanies walking out of marriages, especially marriages with children? the pressure on the woman is mind-blowing. What options are available to the woman who finally musters courage to leave an abusive marriage? Did you get the question? Did you get the question, babes? Babes Temilade, did you get the question I just read out?
You're welcome.
Okay. So does speaking out handle the sense of failure that accompanies walking out of marriages? I think let's take it like bit by bit so we don't lose certain things in it. So let's start from there. Babe Temilade, over to you, ma. Yeah, so the question is saying, does speaking out handle the sense of failure that accompanies walking out of marriages, especially marriages with children? Because there's so much pressure on the woman. And so how do we handle that? And what options are available, you know, if a woman decides to finally muster the courage to leave an abusive marriage? If similarly, can you hear me? I'm not sure. I think network has frozen her again. The thing is, speaking to the right person while we're trying to wait for her network, I would say speaking to the right person kind of can help with that sense of failure. Speaking to the right person would immensely help because, like we said again, when you're speaking to somebody who is not judging you and who is not seeing you as a failure because the marriage didn't work out, that would help build, you know, that support system for you. And especially marriages with children, I like to let people know and say, don't stay in an abusive relationship because of your children. Because what is happening is these children that you're saying, I'm staying because of them, you are instilling something in them. You are instilling that it either goes two ways. You either have a child who grows up thinking it's okay to be abused, you know, and the child just keeps taking on abuse everywhere he goes, and you just grow up to have you're building a child that will just be broken. Or there's, you know, there's the resilient one that may pick up and say, okay, do you know what, I saw the way my parents were, that was not a great relationship, and okay, I'm going to try my best to see how I would never be that, or I'll never put somebody through that. But whichever way it is, I think it's not healthy for the children. I feel it's even healthier for the children to see you walk away, to know that it is not okay to accept abuse on any instance, on any occasion, for any reason. You walking away should be able to give them that sense of, do you know what, that strength, that it's not okay to entertain abuse. But staying in an abusive relationship because of children, I wouldn't encourage that at all. I wouldn't encourage that at all. And, you know, like we said, I think there are NGOs around that you can get, you know, involved with that could give a support system for a woman, for example, who plans on living an abusive relationship until she's able to pull herself together and all of that. So I feel there are organizations that can help with that. And like I said, speaking to the right person can help a lot to handle that sense of failure that sort of accompanies working out of a marriage. Dr. Temilade, do you have anything to weigh in on this question, please? Hello? Dr.
I
Temilade,
think
can
you
you
have
hear?
answered the question. I
Okay.
think you have answered the question. Nobody encourages abusive relationship. It depends on the severity. You understand? What is the role of the in-law? Can you
Mm.
hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you, baby Temilade.
Hello? Yes, I think you have answered the question. Some of the times when people present in the hospital, especially when you get to know that there's a form of abuse going on in the family and they are the verge of separating, we do ask, what is the role of family members? What have they done about it? What are they doing? What is their own take to it? After that, we also ask about religious organizations. Do you attend church? Do you go to mosque? What have your pastors done about it? What are what is the role of significant others, friends and families?
Mm.
And then we can be talking about law. Of course, what does the law says about it before we can finally say that, okay, let people part their ways. So I think you have answered the question.
Oh, okay. Great, great. Wow. This has been really, really enlightening for me. I don't know about the rest of us. Somebody said this network is an unbeliever. Oh, God. Wow, this was really, really great. This was really great. And I hope we've learned a thing or two. I hope we've learned a thing or two because it's really important. We all play a role, overall, across
Are
board,
there other
across
questions?
everything. I do not see any other question. I do not see any other question yet. I haven't seen any other question yet. Nope, none yet. I'll just give a minute or two and see if there's no other questions, and then we can wrap it up for tonight. Yeah, so please, I feel, it starts with kindness. If we can all be kind to one another, that will go a long way in the very first instance of reducing the impact of abuse. Because when you're kind, it gives people a safe space, a safe area. And, just be mindful, you know, learn to appreciate and understand confidentiality. So somebody may reach out to you and tell you, this is my situation, this is my problems. Don't just dismiss their problems, dismiss their situations. I feel it's something you should, respect it, treat it with total confidentiality. Share when it needs to be shared and share to the right channels. Don't just let it not become the gist. Let the person not wake up and see their story on Insta blog and all of that. And so, yeah, let's be really good. Next week, Friday, there will be another wonderful session. And I would be looking forward to seeing every one of us. Oh my God, network has kicked her out. Dr. Temilade, we are really, really grateful. We are thankful, for the knowledge you've shared with us tonight. We appreciate you. We're thankful and we're grateful. Thank you so much for spending your time with us, even though the unbelieving network did not let you enjoy and have that smooth ride with us. But we were still blessed. We still learned a lot, and I believe the world would be a kinder world and a nicer world because of what we've learned today and what we've heard today. So we're going out there. And let's not forget, Value Me 2021 is round the corner. It's in August and it's going to be power packed. If you think you've learned a thing in this week or last week, you can imagine what you're going to learn during Value Me. It's going to be power packed. We're having speakers come to talk to us about reproductive health. We'll talk again about our mental health. We're talking about, nutrition and lifestyle. We're also going to be talking about health insurance. And there are giveaways that are going to be happening in that period. So don't miss out. Stay tuned. Keep looking for every post, on the Babes Redefined group. Keep looking out for our post. If you are not following us on Instagram, please do follow Babes Redefined on Instagram and catch up with every post. Oh, welcome back, Dr. Temilade. I was just saying thank you very much. We're really, really grateful for your time, and the information. Everyone is saying they've learned a lot this evening, and we are really, really glad. We are really, really glad that you spent this time with us. Thank you
You're
so,
welcome.
so much. Yes, so yes. Adele,
Thank you so
Juliana,
much.
Hire, yeah, hashtag Value Me 2021. That's the way to go. So make sure you all tune in next week, Friday. We'll be having another exciting topic to discuss. And trust me, you don't want to miss it at
You're
all,
welcome.
at all. So yeah, everyone's sending their love from Facebook and they're thanking you for being with us and spending the time with us. Thank you, everyone, and God bless you. See you next week, Friday, same time, 7 p.m. We'll be live on Facebook, on YouTube, etc. Lillian, hopefully, yes, the replay should be available on Facebook. Hopefully, yeah, it should be available. Because I think it's worth us sharing this replay again for people that missed out. Like, listen, come and learn a thing or
Thank
two.
you so much.
Yeah, this
Oh,
was really, really
thank
insightful
you.
and enlightening. Okay, do have a wonderful evening, have a wonderful afternoon, a wonderful morning, wherever you're calling or joining us from around the world. And we hope to see you same time next week, Friday. Have a blessed evening. All right. Bye.